This is a compilation of my JoJo stand series, and it will cover part 1 to part 25. I'll be making one of these for every 25 parts of the series, so enjoy. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 1, Star Platinum. Star Platinum is the first stand we see in JoJo's. It has a range of abilities, these being super speed, strength and precision. It also has Star Finger, which lets it extend its fingers. It can also stop time for around 8 seconds at its peak. It can also be assumed that it can shrink, but that can be assumed for more stands. Star Platinum's effective range is also 2 meters. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 2, King Crimson. King Crimson is the stand of Part 5's main antagonist, Diavolo. King Crimson is a reference to the band, King Crimson. It has the ability to erase 10 seconds of time. During those 10 seconds, all fated actions will still happen, but they won't affect Diavolo himself, but action caused by him will still occur. King Crimson also has a sub-stand called Epitaph, which is controlled by Doppio, and it allows him to see 10 seconds into the future. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 3, Dirty Deeds Done Dead Cheap. D4C is a reference to AC/DC. The main user of the stand, Funny Valentine, is the main antagonist of Part 7. It allows him to transport to other dimensions and interact with them. He does this by being closed between two objects. He can bring alternate Funny Valentines to his dimension, but if he brings another person, they will crumble if they get too close to the other version of themselves. Also, the new Valentine, brought to the best dimension, will get all of the current Valentine's memories. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 4, Crazy Diamond. Crazy Diamond is a reference to Pink Floyd. It is a short-range stand with immense speed and strength. Its main ability is Restoration, which is where it can return objects and organisms to a previous state, but if the user doesn't care about fixing it properly, it will become disfigured. The user also cannot use the Restoration ability on themselves. If there's any stands you want to see me cover, leave a comment down below and I'll probably get around to do it one day. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 5, Death 13. Death 13 has the ability to go into people's dreams. When in them, he can manipulate the dreams and it will become nightmares and harm the dreamer. If the dreamer takes any damage or dies in the dream, the same wounds are reflected in real life. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 6, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is the stand of one of Dio's sons, Ungalo. It is a reference to a Queen song with the exact same name. Its ability is to bring fictional things and things from art into the real world. Its range is presumably infinite as it affected the entire Earth. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 7, Toth. Toth is a stand from Part 3 and is used by Boingo. It is a stand bound to a book and is automatic. It has the ability to predict the future if you follow the exact step that it shows. As it is bound to a book, non-stand users can also see the stand. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 8, Diver Down. Diver Down is a stand from Part 6 and is used by Anasui. It has the ability to store its punches or kicks in an object and then later on can exert this force onto someone. Diver Down can also be put in someone's body, so when they get hit, it's essentially like an endoskeleton so they don't take as much damage. Its final ability is restructuring. It can go inside of things and restructure them from the inside, changing the object or person's appearance. And people believe he changes gender from female to male to get in the different wards of the prison. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 9, Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick is from Part 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it is a shared and automatic stand. Cheap Trick's main ability is called Attachment, where it attaches the user's back and tries to get other people to look at it. If someone does look at the user's back, it will then rip their back open, and then that person will shrivel down and die. The person who looked at the back will become the new user of Cheap Trick, and Cheap Trick will try and do the exact same thing again, essentially just trying to kill as many people as it can. So even though you're the stand user, it technically controls you. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 10, Superfly. Superfly is in Part 4 of JoJo's and it's an automatic bound stand which is bound to a transmission tower. Superfly's ability is if someone walks in, they cannot leave until another person enters the premises, essentially making it so you're a prisoner there. As it is a bound stand, even non-stand users can see it, but will not know the effects until it starts happening to them. Superfly also has its own defense mechanism where if you attack it, it'll attack you back with the exact same attack, but in a metallic form of it. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 11, Six Pistols. Six Pistols is from Part 5 of JoJo's. Along with being a sentient stand, it is also a long distance and colony stand. Six Pistols, as the name implies, is 6 bullets, and the abilities are deflection, so they can deflect bullets away from Mista and from his own weapon to shoot them further, and they can also gather information, which is then relayed back to Mista. Even though it is called Six Pistols, it's actually comprised of 6 bullets, ranging from 1 to 7, skipping over number 4 as that is Mista's phobia. It also has some minor abilities like enhanced perception and enhanced reloading, essentially makes so Mista doesn't have to reload his own gun. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, Part 12, Kanum. Kanum is an integrated stand from part 3 of JoJo's. It is used by Boingo's older brother, Oingo. As is an integrated stand, it doesn't have its own appearance, but it lets Oingo change his appearance, his weight, and also his scent. It can be presumed that he can change his own clothing into other items, as he changes hat into Jotaro's hat. He may also be able to change his voice, but this is a grey area. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 13, Kiss. Kiss is a humanoid stand from part 6 and is used by MS Costello. It has the ability to duplicate things by using a sticker that is created from its palm. After placing the sticker on an item, it duplicates, and after taking the sticker off, the duplicate and the original item will fly towards each other, causing a bit of damage to the item. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 14, Emperor. Emperor is a close range stand from part 3 of JoJo's and it is used by Hall Horse. Emperor makes it so the user can home in bullet on the enemy and control where they go. Along with this, the stand has infinite ammunition as a result of it being a gun. The user of Emperor can also directly summon the weapon in the hands at any time. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 15, Lovers. Lovers is a long range stand from JoJo's part 3 and it is used by Steely Dan. Lovers is used by being put in the victim's brainstem, so when Steely Dan feels pain, they also feel the pain, but way worse. This also affects limbs that they don't possess anymore, essentially giving them a really intense phantom pain. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 16, Heaven's Door. Heaven's Door first debuts in part 4 of JoJo's and is used by Rohan Kashibe, and in my opinion, I think it's a pretty cool stand. Heaven's Door has the ability to make any object into a book. After doing this, the user can remove or add attributes to the object. It can also make said object do any command at once and it is forced to follow that command. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 17, Green Green Grass of Home. Green Green Grass of Home was first introduced in part 6 of JoJo's and it is used by the Green Baby. The stand has the ability to make the enemy shrink when it approaches the user, but if the enemy moves away from the user, they will grow back to their normal height. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 18, The Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead is a stand from part 5 of JoJo's and is used by Prosciutto. The Grateful Dead has the ability to age people depending on their temperature. If they are colder, they will age slower, but if they are warmer, they'll age faster. Another way the stand ages people is through direct contact. If it touches you, you'll age rapidly. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 19, Anubis. Anubis was first introduced in part 3 of JoJo's and has many users. It is also an automatic, integrated, shared, sentient and bound stand. Anubis is a sentient stand as it is possessed by the god Anubis. Anubis has the ability of mind control. When people pick up the sword, they will start being mind controlled by Anubis, and the only way to get out of this state is if they drop the sword. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 20, Planet Waves. Planet Waves is a humanoid stand that was first introduced in part 6 of JoJo's. It has the ability to attract meteorites down to Earth, and to make sure they don't kill the user, it will make it so they will disintegrate just before they hit him. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 21, Strength. Strength first appears in part 3 and is a close range, materialised, artificial non-humanoid stand. As the stand is bound to the ship, it can manipulate things on and in the ship. As a result of this, they can use an offensive or defensive matter. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 22, Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind and Fire is a grey area, as it is not fully confirmed that it's a stand, but I'm still going to be covering it anyway. It was first introduced in part 4 and it is an integrated stand. The stand lets the user shapeshift in objects, but not anything too complicated like machinery. It also can't transform the user into something stronger than the user. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 24, Rat. Rat was first introduced in part 4 of JoJo's and is technically 2 stands as it is used by 2 different rats. Rat has the ability of melting darts, which makes so when the victim is hit, it'll start melting instantly, whether that be metal or human flesh. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 23, Goo Goo Dolls. Goo Goo Dolls was first introduced in part 6 and it is used by Goes. Goo Goo Dolls has the ability of size reduction, meaning it can reduce the size of the victim and or opponent. Explaining JoJo stands in under 60 seconds, part 25, Love Deluxe. Love Deluxe was first introduced in part 4 and it is used by Yukiko. Love Deluxe lets the user manipulate the hair so they can use it as an offensive or defensive weapon, and it can be used to wrap up people and even lift people up off the ground.